this.
You know when we are
Can't even,
trolling you.
can't even tell. Oh, by the way, we
When you say
are...
we're live, that's when we're trolling.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
This is Literary Roadhouse. One short story once a week. I'm Anise.
I'm Gerald.
I'm Andy.
Wow.
Look at that.
Surprised. I'm in a better
So-
mood today. That's good.
Huzzah!
I was grumpy last week. I don't know why, but I'm very
Too many
cheery
jokes.
today. Yeah, could be. Whatever.
So this week, we read Harlow by Sheila Armstrong.
Did we?
It's not very long. There's a link in the description if you want to read it. The story centers around Mark, an American living in London who recently learned of his mother's unexpected death in a Walmart brought on by a stroke. I don't know why I used that tone, but it just, there was something
In a
about it. That was
Walmart.
there was just something about it that felt very like ticking the boxes of like sudden American death. The only thing more would have been, hail of bullets. All right. Throughout the story, Mark reflects on a story his mother used to tell. She was 29 and volunteering at a wildlife sanctuary in Ecuador when she became unexpectedly pregnant. A monkey had grown close to her, and his mother, not the monkey's mother, Mark's mother, used to tell a story where the punchline was that she had to choose between the monkey or the baby. Ultimately, she chose the baby, but Mark has lived with a festering resentment that his mother regretted her choice. She was a bit neglectful, though never cruel, more absent-minded than malicious, but in her absent-mindedness, he feels small and unimportant to her. Mark discusses his mother with a series of casual sex partners, mostly women and one man. When his mother dies, he goes to her small home to empty the rental of her things. There he discovers old photographs and other mementos, among them an ugly puppet of a monkey holding a name tag that reads Mark.
Yeah. That was the story.
That was it.
Yep.
Gerald, as I was saying the summary, I thought you were sort of like looking up like you weren't sure. How did you...
No,
Yeah.
I was looking at my ring light on top of the shelf. So sorry, I'm wondering if I could. I was listening, but I was wondering if I could mount it underneath the shelf because it's a bit.
Oh,
I
it
thought
looked
he was beseeching the heavens for aid.
No. I'm fine.
I thought he was disagreeing with the festering resentment that his mother regretted her choice. Like maybe that was too strong and you thought it was milder than that or something.
No.
If anything, that's not strong enough.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
all right.
No, I think it's exactly correctly strong.
Okay.
For due consideration.
Yeah.
Before we get into how he felt about this story, I just want to make one note. Imagine you're having a casual hookup with some man and he just lies there post-coitally just telling you about his mom and you're like, all right. There's just something about this man unloading to every single sex partner. I'm just like, okay.
Whatever.
All
Wow.
right.
Yeah. Weird.
So, Andy, what did you think of the story overall?
I guess the best way to describe it is
Oh my God, why?
Oh,
Really?
What?
come on.
What's wrong with you?
It was like, here's this story. It's like a fine literary story, like every single other one, where exactly the things you think are going to happen. Dead mom, resentment, clever vignettes of current day casual sex partners mixed with reminiscence about childhood.
Okay. Wow. That's a lot. The thing is, like, I like the story while still acknowledging the fact that it does have that. I don't even know what to call it because I'm not as dismissive of it. So it's more just like, but I know what you're saying. It does the literary
Right.
thing
It does
of the
the
day.
thing.
It does the thing. It does the thing.
Does the
Whatever
thing.
that thing is.
It
that
does the thing fine, I guess.
But isn't there a danger now that you're criticizing it for being a well-constructed story? Are we now
Good point, Gerald.
not wanting?
Yeah.
Oh.
I
Oh,
like
okay.
clever stories.
Oh,
Well constructed's the bare minimum.
that's
Dang.
told me, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Dang.
Wow.
Son. All right.
I couldn't help the entire time I was reading this comparing it to Confessions of a Shinagawa Monkey, which is a much better monkey and a much better story.
Mhm.
Right?
I mean, I think if I were trying to be more generous, even though Andy doesn't deserve it, to Andy's opinion here, the risk of sometimes kind of being like, oh, okay, it's doing the thing. All right, we've seen the thing done. All right. I think the reason it is a well-constructed story, I mean, it grabbed me at the beginning. I had no problem getting through it. Like there was no point where I was just like, oh, this is dragging or the pacing is off. Like I started and I went all the way to the end, which is in and of itself hard to do. But I think the what I'm getting from Andy's reaction that I might be a little sympathetic to, but not with the level of attitude that Andy has, is it just starts to feel a little bit like just modern day, like trauma navel gazing a bit. Like it just there's something about it that's just very navel gazy.
Right.
After a while, it just feels a bit okay. All right. Especially because like Mark's not very sympathetic here. Like you roll your eyes at him.
Read last week that was equally like just the thing and the thing and the thing and the thing.
You liked it, non-disclosure agreement.
Right, non-disclosure agreement. I don't know. It was punchy. That one was right. It was snappy and
you gave it a 6
on despair. Yeah, right. This one was like good. Yeah.
Wow.
I think that's it. I think it's just a little bit of exhaustion at the navel gazing of like modern day, mostly adults, where you're just like, okay, like. Especially because in Mark's case, you're just like, you're choosing to be as upset as possible. Like, this is a choice you are making every year of your life as an adult man. Like, you're refusing to let this go by choice, which is frustrating to see, but also real. There's people like that. You see people like that. So, like, it has that authenticity where you're just like, Mark definitely exists, but you're just like, all right, Mark, I don't want to go home with you.
Or Mark the monkey?
Mark the human.
Okay.
Mark the monkey is an innocent.
And I'd just like to say here that since it's my turn to choose a story for next week, I chose a story, then I looked at it, I thought, Andy won't like this. So I put it to one side. So, because it was too, I mean, we used to call it an MFA story quite dismissively.
Oh, that's the one you didn't choose.
That's the one I didn't choose.
Oh,
no.
I thought you stuck to your guns. You're like, Andy won't like this. All right.
Oh no. I don't want to disturb the wrath of the mighty
I was
Andy.
kind of looking forward to it.
Nah, because you'd blame me.
I don't know. I don't blame any.
You probably still hate the other one anyway, but never mind.
Okay.
At least we know her. So yeah, I liked it. I don't know what it was about it I liked, and the whole sort of monkey thing and the monkey robot thing in the wardrobe is I suppose I was a bit unhappy with that ending until I read the interview with her when she said that she deliberately made it vague and got people to think.
Yeah.
Is he being snarky now? Is he going?
I was moderately happy with the story until I read the interview, and then I was like, "Well, that's just bullshit."
I like the vague ending. It is the true note of a literary story is to end with a shrug, but in an interesting way, because it confirms for me all the things that I already don't like about Mark, which is he's looking for as many tea leaves as he can to construct this boo-hoo story about himself.
Yeah. No, I thought the ending was okay, and then I read the interview where she was like, it could be this or it could be that, and I was like, well, shut up.
Really? Why are you so mean? Honestly,
because that's just she's like, oh yeah, I was doing some like navel gazing stuff, and we knew.
I regret teaching you the word navel gazing.
I saw you doing the navel gazing. You don't have to tell me you were doing navel gazing.
Okay, wow. She's not telling you. This is a digital literary magazine that asked her for a comment on her story. She was doing her job, promoting her story. I don't understand.
You know
the
what?
level of resentment.
You know what Murakami said in Confessions of a Shinagawa Monkey?
Oh my god. Mm.
They asked him what it was about.
He said it was a monkey.
It was about a talking monkey.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, beautiful. That's the perfect answer. Not just like, oh, I was being clever and doing like some navel gazing.
But it is clever. It is clever that this man finds this thing in his mom's closet and there's no answers about it, and he's going to fill in the blanks, and there's many ways he can fill in those blanks, and he's going to fill in the blanks in the ways that we expect him to based on what we learned of him in this short story.
Because he's always quite happy to repeat the story of his mother choosing between him and the monkey, and you're right, Anise. It's a look at poor old me, and maybe he's I mean, it's quite interesting. I think there's some interesting things that he suddenly crops up in different places, and he crops up in London and somewhere after a book launch, and but it's not explained. So I enjoy that. I enjoy it's sometimes we don't need to be told everything. Yes.
Yeah.
Too many drinks at a book launch in Paris. So we don't know whether Mark's written a book or Raki has written a book, but
I think Raki, because isn't Mark he studied business and then he had a bunch of high-paying jobs and they're boring. I think something like that.
Why did he go to Paris? So if it's not his book, who knows?
Because maybe he was working in publishing.
Yeah, maybe.
He just works in offices. Anywhere that has an office, Mark could work there.
Yeah. I also think it's interesting, like, his adult life is so different from his mom's, because the thing is, like, the glimpses we see of his mom, even through his resentment, is she's a very free soul. Like, she's got that granola, crunchy hippie vibe to her. I mean, she was volunteering at a wildlife sanctuary. She was always moving around the country, doing what felt like different kinds of activist and important things. She had a real big heart, but it left a blind side in her for her kids' needs. And like the resentment he has there from when he was a kid and feeling like she didn't give as much attention as she gave all these other things, I can understand. But the fact that this man as an adult can't grapple with that and can't start to see his mom as her own individual person and full human is where I start to get a bit frustrated with him, where it's like, yeah, but like, you should know more of who she is and maybe admire her for some of those qualities, which are exceedingly rare and difficult. And he goes in the opposite direction as much as he can. He's like, I'm just going to go for the boring business degree, get the high paying jobs I don't care about. Like, he doesn't have that kind of like North Star guiding him and his principles the way his mom did. Not to say he's immoral or anything. That's not what I'm saying. It's not like that. Like, he's not like but just, he doesn't have that drive the way that she did. And he can't admire her for any of it. In a way, is frustrating. Like, I feel like I understand as a kid, but you should be able to grow up, look back, process that, and be better, instead of the only person who's told the story more than his mom is Mark. He just keeps repeating it.
And his mom's not going to tell the story again. Mark's going to keep doing it. He might be there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because based on what we've read of him, he's not going to see the puppet and think, oh, she had a great sense of humor. That's not going to be his conclusion.
Oh no! It's quite an interesting little line on the comparison to his mother, where it said Mark had gotten on with his life, wandering on a gentle incline from one dull, well-paid job to another, trying to dilute any hereditary flightiness with spreadsheets and data files.
Yep.
So he's fighting against everything that his mother was, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Which feels a little bit like a misread of who she was. Like, her flightiness had a purpose, and you see that in the things that she was flying to. And I can understand why for a kid that was unsettling and disruptive to his life, and she had money to do that, but she didn't have money to buy him new shoes. I could understand that resentment, but his refusal to see her as her whole self just made me a bit like, you're pretty self-absorbed, Mark. Yeah.
Did you know what digs meant?
Mm-hmm.
It says in the loft of her digs. Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was an English word.
It might be, but I still knew it.
Yeah, okay, good.
Probably because we've been reading all these stories.
Yeah.
I liked how he was super protective over all his mom's things until he brought them to the landfill.
Yes. He was just a mean so. You don't like it. I like lots of sort of similes and analogies, which I loved. Apart from As soon as Mark heard the American accent on the phone, he felt a sense of resignation settle over him like a freshly cracked egg, which is a strange analogy, really.
You've never had an egg crack over you so that you know how that feels?
It's great for your hair.
Feels like resentment.
Is this
resignation? You're just like, oh,
okay.
Oh, okay. There's just egg now. You can't do anything about it.
That's an American thing.
There's just an egg on you now.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I get it.
That's resignation.
Yes.
I don't get it. So, why do you think his mom had the puppet, and what's the significance of naming the puppet Mark?
She missed it, probably. But it's a bit that there's a bit more than that, isn't it? Because she's made it quite an unpleasant. It's not she could have bought like a soft toy monkey if she'd have wanted something. So she deliberately made it, unpleasant, robot-like, jagged, gnashing jaws on a square metal head.
But we know she's never cruel. That's something that Mark himself says. So, I wonder if part of it is she knows about his resentment, and this is kind of it's like this, almost dark humor of just this is how he sees me. Wire mom, you know what I mean? I wonder if it's just this kind of, yeah.
Right. Keeps me alive, but does not provide comfort.
Yeah, this is how Mark sees me. So, I think there's a bit of a humor in the way that she tells the story as well, right? There's a bit, it seems to make she has a sense of humor, and she must know about his resentment. So, I don't think she's walking around it's true. I am a mother who does not care. That's really hard for anyone to just live with. So I think it's this kind of weird, dark humor way that she grapples with it.
But then he laughed because there was a card with his name on it. So he saw the funny side of it. Perhaps.
Yeah, that's why I think she meant it as a joke.
But she never remembered the original monkey's name. Was the original monkey named Mark? Is Mark named after the monkey?
Don't know. I did have a very quick thought about the fact she got pregnant and the fact that she was sleeping with the monkey in her bed, but whether the two were no. Sorry, I
yeah.
I read some weird
story.
Now that
it didn't end up being that kind of story, though.
No.
That I think that was an appropriate thought in general.
Hey, we've got similar water bottles.
Oh,
blue for a boy! Yay! Water bottle twins.
Oh my god! All right, you guys are loopy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I've been navel gazing a lot.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness!
You don't want to do that.
I regret saying the word.
Be careful what you teach your performing monkey. No disrespect, although there was disrespect. You ever started saying something and then think, hang on, I shouldn't be saying this.
All right. Any more comments you guys want to make? Anything about the prose?
It's fine.
I liked it. It's not just fine. I liked it. I liked it when he was with Maria Rose and he went down on her instead, spelling out the alphabet with his tongue and stopping on the letters she likes best. There's lots of great little things.
That for some reason made me dislike Mark a little more for some reason, because the whole write out the alphabet thing feels like something that teens and college kids are just oh, this is how when they're you know what I mean? It just felt okay, it felt a little tropey almost, and he's leaning into it in a way. So I'm just
yeah, a little bit, but I thought that I liked the pausing on the letters. You like that? Yeah. I thought that was very good.
It's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder if I would have liked this story more if it was poorly written. Just the fact that it was well written and capable is okay. Well, So
No.
you can like write stories, and you chose to do this.
It
was like
said that about other
poorly
stories.
written. I'd be like, oh, all right, you like kind of suck as an author, but like, oh, you're reaching for something. That's good.
No.
Yeah.
No, I think the fact that for all three of us, the story just went right from the beginning and pulled you along, had a great flow, great pacing, and it's really short. And there's a lot of things we can get about who Mark is, who his mother is. Like it is, like just really good. It's really just I think maybe a level of exhaustion with all of the navel gazing, and it might have more to do with the way that our society around us right now is. There's just a lot of navel gazing in general. It's all over the internet, right? It's a lot of like, if someone says something and someone else is like, well, this is offensive to me. This triggers my thing from this one time when this other thing. So it just kind of feels like a saturation of that. So perhaps when you read more of it, there's just a part of you that's like, okay, it's more of this.
Yeah, but I
that
really
doesn't
like the
mean it's bad.
despair ones.
But the
Like
despair
is always a good time.
Well, non-disclosure agreement was despair, but with a lot of jokes. So I think you're right, the jokes.
I do like
but yeah. So I think it's a little bit that, just like the constant, like there's like a constant like therapizing all the time in our demographic, and this feels like more of that. Like,
and there weren't a lot of jokes.
There weren't that many jokes. There was a few.
No, there was some like little bits. I was like, that's funny.
Yeah. like a therapist having a good time with this, being like, the monkey is literally a monkey.
No, that's funny.
Yeah, that was a good one. Yep.
Real zinger.
But yeah, I think that's where the exhaustion comes from. Is stories that feel like more people therapizing in public. Because there's so much of that right now in our culture, but it's still good.
But I like the fact that she, even though she didn't really appear in it very much, she was very prominent in a way.
Yeah.
So she was the antithesis of Mark, the sort of happy-go-lucky, doing nice things for animals and whatnot. And she was very present in the story. So I think yes, sometimes dreary stories can overdose on dreariness, and you just sort of get a bit too much of it. But I think the fact that she was very prominent in this and provided that light touch.
Yeah. Well, it did a great job of painting a picture of both Mark and his mom just by like the juxtaposition, because we don't actually know too much about them, but we know like the opposite things.
Yeah.
And then it fills them both in.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like we don't know that about Mark either, really.
No.
Right, but we know Mark's the opposite of his mom, and his mom's the opposite of Mark.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I wouldn't say the story's dreary at all. Like the tone doesn't feel too heavy at all. No.
Yeah.
No. It's like he's. It's almost like he's accepted. It's sort of who he is. This little the monkey on his back, or the cross that he's bearing. He's got used to the weight of it, and he's carrying it and mentions it a lot, but it doesn't seem to weigh him down very much. It's just part of who he is, and then that sort of laughing at the end when he finds the card. I think that's just I don't know. Maybe he suddenly thinks he's been taking himself too seriously all this time.
I hope so, because I feel like his mom did that as a joke, and he finally gets it. But
yeah,
I don't know. It's been a long time of him like making this a part of his identity. I don't know how quickly he'll shed it.
Yeah.
But he could.
Maybe
he'll have some regrets. I was really mean to my mom.
Yeah.
Not like mean. You don't get the sense like he ever like yelled at her like through, like he wasn't. But she has to know.
I like the fact that her final words were a recipe for refried beans. That made me chuckle.
They were good.
Yeah, bacon lard.
And it does feel kind of motherly, right?
Yeah.
Like, oh, here's this refried bean recipe that you should, like this feels like things that moms do. Like it kind of undercuts his whole she never thinks about me. Like she thinks about a lot of things. She's a very busy person. She's got a lot of passions, but you're in there. Just yeah.
And he did cook it for Arthur. So there you are. So there's a little bit of redemption about him, I think. There's a little bit of,
Yeah, he's not an awful person. He just needs to like let this go.
Yeah. He's been telling the story so long. He thinks it's made him who he is, but I think and there's nothing wrong with spreadsheets.
Oh, I love spreadsheets.
You
guys know I work at a spreadsheet startup anyway. So okay.
Yeah.
Anything else we want to add?
I don't think so.
Are we ready for ratings?
Yes, 5.
That's a big number. That's one of the biggest ones on our scale, not in life.
Yeah,
they could be
large. We're from 1 to 6.
Yes.
Andy?
I'm just trying to like search in my heart and see if any of the good points you have both brought up actually changed my numerical rating, because I don't disagree with anything you've said as such. Well, like I still think this story is kind of like, so I was going to give it a 3 until I read the little interview thing, and then at that point in time, I decided to give it a 2, and I will stick with my 2. 2 is the story. I have spoken.
That's pretty harsh.
It is very harsh.
I was going to give it a 5, but I actually have come down a little bit because while I think Andy is, his tone is a bit much, to put it mildly, pretty mean, and the story does not deserve any of that scorn or a 2.
Really well written. I just hated it.
It is true, and I'm sort of lying to myself if I deny that. I personally am also a little exhausted with the constant therapizing in our culture and media. Okay, so I think
story's fault.
I know, but also it does make me crave different things. Like it makes me want a story that does something different. Like when Andy said Confessions of a Shinagawa Monkey felt different. Well, because it didn't feel like another entry in like our parents have traumatized us, sort of, kind of. They didn't really do anything, but they weren't perfect. So like there is an exhaustion with that. And I think I did get to the end of it. And even though I liked it and liked everything that it did, and I thought it was clever and very well written, there was a part of me that did do a tiny bit of a shrug because I'm just a little like, I don't know, Mark. Like, I don't know what you want me to tell you. You're a grown ass man. Like, you should be able to deal with this. So,
yeah,
4.5.
Okay. That's not.
But Mark feels real. Mark feels real because we see him everywhere. I'm not saying he's not real. I'm just like, Mark,
I was just checking next week's story to see if there's any therapizing. Change it again. Whatever. Have at it.
It's even in like video games. Like I was talking to someone. So Andy knows about Celeste. Celeste. Very good game.
Celeste.
Right. But it's also a therapizing game.
Yeah.
So like I was talking to someone about Celeste, and I was like, ugh, Celeste just made me so depressed by the end of it. And they're like, oh, because you resonate with the theme. I'm like, no, just because the B-sides are fucking hard. Like, I kept failing at the actual game, not because of the therapizing, not because climbing the mountain is getting over your depression or whatever.
No, just because like
the B-sides were hard.
I can't like teleport that many times. Come on.
Yeah, I couldn't jump over the thing. Yeah, that's why I was depressed, because I sucked at the mechanics of the game.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I'm trying to have a conversation about a tough platformer, and someone's like, "Oh, because of the depression theme." I'm like, "No,
it's hard to jump."
Yeah, or It Takes Two. That's another one. What a brilliant game! It's about a divorce. All right, like, oh, there's so much therapizing.
Yeah. Good game. It's fun.
It's a great game. It's amazing. Yeah. The mechanics are genius. The level's incredible. So good. Beautiful game, but you have to go through a lot of cutscenes about divorce.
Yeah.
Like,
oh, jeez.
Can I just do the cool thing with the magnets? I just want to play with magnets. Anyway, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's
there we are.
Yeah. And I think sometimes like it might be a little to our detriment. Like it's good that we're open about this, so that people who really need it can get it, but it also turns into a form of self-absorption sometimes. And it's like, I don't know where the line is, but I don't want to watch these fictional characters go through a divorce all the time. All right.
And
in my video game.
And there is a school of thought that wonders if by publicizing issues, it makes people go, "Oh, that's me."
Yeah.
That's a 65-year-old man saying that. It's not like it was in my day.
That's the thing that's hard, right? Like on some level, it's helpful. Now that you can name it, people who actually do have it and do need to grapple with that can put a name to it, and it's empowering. But other people, my brother calls it Munchausen by internet. It's like when you start just finding things to tag to yourself to get attention. Munchausen by internet. That's like all like the fake disorder teens on TikTok. That's also a phenomenon. Yeah. So like, where's the line? I don't know. I'm not a professional here, but it is exhausting.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
It is.
Write about more monkeys.
Yeah. I just want my monkeys talking.
Pickpocketing.
Great. Stealing names.
Andy's just grumpy because the monkey never really made an appearance.
Right. He wasn't actually in the story.
I know. You were looking forward to it until...
I was really looking forward to the monkey.
I think that's why I was thinking, like, who are like my favorite like authors right now?
Monkey authors.
And modern authors, yeah. Like modern
No,
ones?
monkey authors, I said.
Oh, monkey authors, yeah. Yeah. But like they always like, even if it's in there, they hide it better. The therapizing's not on the surface. They hide it really well. And the story is like, oh, this is like, I keep thinking about the husband stitch.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's real, it's hidden. And on the surface, we've got these creepy, like feminist kind of fairy tales and women who wear ribbons in different parts of their bodies. And when you pull it off, her head pops off. Great. Like there's something else going on here.
Yeah. Right. That was good. Nobody's head popped off in this story.
There you go.
Right. That's a much better ending. And then Mark found the monkey and his head popped off. I was like, all right. Now we're talking. Or they switched places. And he was in the closet all along. Cool.
That'd be interesting.
Maybe he should go meet the monkey. I mean, the monkey's probably dead by now, but he should definitely go, and consider the monkey his brother.
No, not really.
Yes.
No.
It would be different.
Enough with the monkeys. Not every story has to have a monkey. Sorry, Andy.
Many stories have primates.
Yes.
Not all. Many.
Not all. That's true.
Yeah. Okay. So, Gerald, what are we reading next week?
Next week, no monkeys.
Some primates?
No primates. We got pajamas, and I don't think there's any therapizing. So there you go. It's To Sunland by Lauren Groff.
I'm picturing a story where all the characters are pajamas.
They're just pajamas.
Just pajamas. All right, but before you go, visit our Facebook discussion group, the Literary Roadhouse Readers, and tell strangers all of your maternal hangups. It's totally healthy and fine and not at all off-putting. Mark's mom would staple his old shoes together. Buy Mark new shoes because he's clearly upset about it, and help contribute to help us cover our podcast expenses at patreon.com/Literary Roadhouse. Every bit helps. And as always, share this podcast with the orphaned monkeys in your life. Until next time, read a good story.